Good morning and welcome to Everyday Money Matters on Lagos Talks 91.3 FM. It's a lovely Wednesday, the 29th of September. My name is Adu. It's time for us to discuss money and personal finance, of course, with our friends from Nairametrics. And of course, if you want the best in finance, news, analysis, etc., head on over to nairametrics.com and you will be able to glean from the interesting articles that are ever fresh and written there. Let me introduce you to our panelists this morning. I am joined by Olumide Adesina, the finance man. Good morning, Olumide. How are you today?
Good morning, Adu. Yes, it's nice to be on the show. Yeah.
All right, good to have you here. And of course, I'm also joined by Lawretta Egba, the money lady. Lawretta, good morning to you. Can you hear me? Okay, while she's trying to unmute her microphone, we'll get on straight with the show. Now, do remember that
Good
this
morning,
show you can... Okay, can you hear me now? Now, do remember that this show is being recorded and you can watch it over and over again on YouTube, on the Nairametrics YouTube platform. So just go to youtube.com and /Nairametrics, and you'll be able to watch the program again. Now, if you have a question like the individuals who have sent theirs in, which we'll be starting with this morning, you can send it to us on WhatsApp. The WhatsApp line of the station is 0809-234-5913. All right, let's get into it. Olumide and Lawretta, here's the first question that I have this morning. I read an article on why it is risky to buy dollars. Can you please explain why this person is asking?
Okay. Good morning once again. I think people need to understand the fundamental reasons why a lot of people try to convert their Naira earnings to USD. I think it's for value, right? To hedge, to preserve their wealth, to command more purchasing power, and also sometimes to profit from arbitrage differences. But often cases, it doesn't happen like that because many people buy from the black market. And that's what the writer was trying to say, that it seems unwise because if you look at the cost you incur via the black market, considering the value of buying that dollar, then it becomes questionable. So I'll give you a quick example. When at the black market channel, when it was trading around 400, the US dollar index was a bit strong, was moving close to 100, and that's an index point used to gauge dollar strength. But when you compare to what the dollar is trading right now to 6 major currencies like the euro, pounds, Japanese yen, the dollar is around 93.7. So the question is, why is the Naira at 560 something at the black market? So it tells you that buying at that market is inefficient. So that's what the writer is trying to empower Nigerians, that you really want to key into value, then you do things in the right channel. So first of all, the smart things to do is either you invest to earn in dollars, and the crypto market, foreign stocks are good options on that, or you look at earning in or having any dollar exposure. Basically, that's what many professionals, including some of us on stage, do here. So I think what the writer was trying to make people understand is that it wasn't categorically wrong for you to invest some of your holdings in USD assets, but it was unwise buying at a cost, because you need to understand the purpose of buying and such things. They are trying to protect value. So when you look at the percentage difference, then I think it's something people need to be to understand. So that's what the article was basically about. So I think the person should just read beyond the headline. The article was well detailed and it explained in about 800 words the importance of not just hedging your money blindly.
Okay, I'm also to add to that.
Okay.
The reason I would say people are saying, let me convert my Naira to dollar, is that, or to dollars rather, is that you are betting against the Naira, basically. So you are saying that with the way this thing is falling, I want to preserve my money with a stronger currency. Well, if Naira was at a much lower rate and it was, as Olumide said, like it had the intrinsic value, and it's not just because of all of the things that have been happening from COVID to everything that's been going on, then maybe it might have been a cool idea. But there are still so many limitations. And the first one is that by doing that, you are now having to deal with foreign exchange volatility. And before cryptocurrency came, I know like right now, crypto is like the riskiest thing. Before crypto came, this volatility was experienced in the FX market and sometimes the commodities market. So you are entering a whole new space if you don't have the experience or the liquidity as well to mitigate the ups and downs of it. I would say, and it's an advice I always give everybody, in today's age, in today's world, every skill can be exported. So as opposed to, now, unless you're a trust fund baby, of course, if you're a trust fund baby, you have a lot of money sitting there in an account and you just feel like locking it up in dollars, you don't care whether it increases or reduces, but it's fine, that's okay. But if you're just trying to convert your small salary, I advise it's better for you to focus on earning in dollars. And because almost every skill can be exported now because of the digital world we live in, it just makes sense that your objective is who's going to pay me dollars as opposed to let me take my money and convert it to dollars, particularly now that, I mean, you're literally saying everything CBN is doing to try to correct the currency is probably futile, which it's not necessarily so with so many indicators coming in. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so it seems as if we're going to stay a lot with the FX this morning because quite a number of questions that are coming in seem to be in that regard. So I'm just going to kind of weave them all together to have a good tapestry of the picture this morning. So this other question is coming in saying, will CBN potentially convert all FX in dorm accounts to Naira?
No.
Yeah.
That's the summary because personally, I just thought it didn't make sense for them to do that. However, they issued a statement to say, no, we said no such thing, we'll do no such thing. So everybody can rest assured.
Yeah.
And still on the conversion and FX, another question here. This person is saying, this is one of our attendees on the Zoom platform, by the way. How is it possible for an online platform to fix or influence FX rate? Example, a bookie FX.
Exactly. People need to understand that, you see, the financial industry is heavily regulated. And one of the functionality behind the CBN's mandate that's very key is to ensure financial stability. Now, you need to understand that when you see an entity gaining relevance in terms of information, and that information is not regulated, it becomes systemically very, very risky. And that is where Aboki FX comes to play. Now, a lot of people are asking, why was Aboki FX themed? It was easy. They were spreading they were spreading high form of negativity in terms of market currency pricing. If you look at the black market, for example, this is an illegal market. This is a market that has gained relevance among many Nigerians. So the fact was that the Apex Bank saw the wisdom to cut out those channels. In advanced countries, that wouldn't have been taken to light because promoting the black market is a criminal offense. In fact, it takes several years, it costs you several years in jail. And because Nigerian financial system is a bit relaxed when it comes to compliance, doesn't mean that we should not follow the law. So I think what they did was just to tame such negativity around the market. And I'll tell you some positivity that is coming out of it. If you look at liquidity in banking channels, I spoke to a lot of guys in treasury and stuff to just understand whether the systemic importance of Aboki FX was exaggerated. I think it was right because we are seeing that a lot of people now are moving to that channel to try and get things on the right channel. Now they understand that the black market is illegal, pricing there is not the actual value. So why would you pay a 30% premium when you have genuine cases? Yes, I understand that not all demands are met, but substantially the CBN has mandated banks to meet legal demand. So I think we should give these people a try. We should see how it works. And I beseech Nigerians not to promote the black market, because seriously, we are paying an heavy price, considering the fact that the Naira looks to gain momentum in a few months' time. We've gotten some funds right now from the Euro bonds. We got about $4 billion. The IMF is giving us close to 3. So definitely our foreign reserves should push us above 40. So I think will be good. And very soon, the Naira interest rates will rise on the currency. I'm talking of next year. So definitely the upside for the Naira is high. So speculators should be aware the CBN is coming for them. Yeah.
Okay, I would also like to chip into that. I would say everything thrives on information. There are times, and whether you are on the other side, meaning you're an investor, what you do is check online, how is Amazon stock doing, and whatever information you find online is what you use to make your decision. And in a market like FX, where everything moves based on whatever is said, I mean, there are times we have written articles in Nairametrics and then we've gotten called from maybe the CBN or something, we sent a letter or something. So because Aboki FX is not just a random website, a huge majority of people when they want to know how much the black market is trading as, they go to Aboki FX and they use that to make their decision. So as Olumide said, if that place is not regulated, then it means the information there is capable of doing anything at all. So yeah.
Okay, so still on this FX and dollar, someone is asking that there was a recent article on Nairametrics that was talking about the Naira bouncing back against the dollar, etc., etc. This person is saying, please, can you share additional information on that recent article on the Nairametrics platform?
Okay, basically what the author was explaining was in simple terms. I highlighted that in our last arguments, that the fact that liquidity is already coming in. You see, you need to understand that the federal government, the sovereign bond raised close to $4 billion. That's going to form some form of liquidity. And the fact that crude oil prices are trading above $25 will also enhance Nigeria's export earning. Also, you need to understand that in the next 2-3 quarters, the CBN will start constricting, tightening the economy. So how do they tighten the economy? They will increase interest rates. So people like Lawretta that are keen on getting more bucks on their fixed income earnings would now see holding that Naira value asset as a necessity. So the upsides for the Naira is bright. But when will it start to happen? That's a very tough question. But I think, to be honest with you, I think we need to stop putting pressure on currency exchange rate values. If you look at on a year-to-year basis, for example, you will notice that the Naira, I'm talking of the official channel, has lost less than 5% in value. And that does give you the credence to tell you that we still are not doing as bad as we are, but things can get better. But if you talk to some economists, they'll tell you that the Naira presently is even undervalued, because if you see what is attainable in much more flexible markets like our colleagues in South Africa, Venezuela, Argentina, you see that they suffered more. So the fact that we practice fixed exchange rate system even gives our currency some strength. So I don't understand how strong he expects, but you should understand that the currency right now is relatively strong when compared to other currencies. I'm not talking about black markets here. I'm talking about the official rate.
Okay, when we come back from this, we'll be answering questions from some of our listeners on the e-Naira, and of course, the oil price now at $80 to a barrel, amongst other questions, especially NFT. So don't touch the dial. We'll be right back shortly.
Hey there, do you want to build wealth and financial stability? Well, investing is what will get you there. Yes, saving is no longer enough. You can now preserve and grow your wealth by choosing an investment plan that suits your needs in the long run. By investing the right way, you can secure your children's education, have a secure retirement plan, and enjoy the ultimate peace of mind. Wondering how you can get started? Standard Chartered Bank has a wide range of investment options, ranging from federal government bonds, treasury bills, and so much more, all accessible from your SC mobile app. Don't have our app? Download from your mobile app store today to access investment opportunities. Start now and secure your family's future. For more information, please send an email to callcenter.nigeria@sc.com or call our call center on 01-270-4611 or toll free on 0800-123-5000. Standard Chartered Bank, here for good.
Welcome back to the show. It's Everyday Money Matters, brought to you in partnership with our friends at Nairametrics. My name is Adu, and it's 7:47 a.m. Now, before we had that short break, I did mention that we'll be answering questions on e-Naira and a few other things that other listeners have sent in. But just to remind you that, because we have just about 30 minutes here, there's a lot that cannot be talked about on this particular show. So Nairametrics has a more hands-on, should I say, personalized mentorship and in-depth analysis of the stock market that can help you make better decisions when it comes to the stock market and making you a smarter investor. All you need to do is go to ssn.nairametrics.com. It's a subscription-based article, and it will give you the monthly buy, monthly hold, monthly sell tips, show you the trends, help you decipher where to put your money, and generally make you a smarter investor. So you need to subscribe by going to the website ssn.nairametrics.com, and then you can have a more personalized, more detailed explanation and should I say article being sent to you as a newsletter every month, so you can help make better decisions when it comes to your finances. Now, let's get into the questions here. In just a few days, we're going to be launching our e-Naira. That's the scheduled date is the 1st of October. Olumide, someone is asking here, it says, how can I get to the e-Naira when it launches?
Yeah, good question. First of all, I think there's a waiting list. This is a pilot scheme. So it's not a full-blown process. So it's going to be selected. But I think the banks are doing their jobs already. You check the sites of GT, Access, VBN, stuff like that. You see that they're already enlightening, educating their users and customers on how to start this process. So basically, go to the website or go visit your bank, you get more information. But the truth about it is something very exciting. This is the first African central bank digital currency coming to play. And to prove skeptics wrong, we had when it went live, the platform had more than 1 million hits in a few hours. So that gives you credence to tell you that, well, the objective of the Apex Bank in trying to include people and create more awareness in that space is really working. So I encourage you guys that be patient with the process. It's not going to be automatic October 1st. A lot of people will not have access. That's the truth, because it's a pilot scheme. The banks are going to start expanding that measure with time. So let's give it a chance to work. Let's keep reading. There's so many articles on Nairametrics that we've written on the inner, how it works, the limits, and how you can move funds and the objective. So keep reading, keep empowering yourself, and trust me, you're going to make a lot, because it's going to open more businesses. It's going to create jobs for you. It's going to enlighten you on how to move funds at cheaper costs. It's going to also empower you. So it's not just the information we drop at the radio show. We basically, what we're trying to do here is see how you can monetize on all these things and how you can be a better person regardless of the systemic problems we see in our political sector. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for your response, Olumide. Lawretta, did you want to say something? Okay. All right. So there are quite a number of questions that are coming from our attendees on the Zoom platform. I think we should just go back to accommodate some of them, particularly when Lawretta was explaining the hazard of going to Aboki FX to determine your perception of the exchange rate. This person says, how is it different from checking Google and other platforms? I mean, there are several platforms where you can just type in something to check the rates. Is CBN going to ban those too? This person is saying, and goes on to say, I think the CBN should look at the fundamentals and fix the root cause. I don't agree 100% with this policy. So Lawretta, you might want to shed light on that quickly.
Okay, well, I don't know if I should just read what I responded already. But what I was trying to say is that when you go online and you check how much is Naira to dollar, and somebody says, this is the amount, a regular random website, most times you want to verify by, let me check what Aboki FX said, because somewhere along the line, over the years, that is the reputation they have built for themselves. And knowing that the black market itself is not regulated, it means any information can drive up anything, meaning typically if the president of a country came out and said something, that's enough to cause a storm or a very big FX trader just comes out and say, okay, this Naira is going to crash, for example, something as random as that. It's enough power, basically. Aboki FX has so many people that use their site to verify rates. And because the black market is not regulated, it gives room for possible inconsistencies along the way. That's what I said.
Yeah, so Adu, let me just add on to what Lawretta said and let people understand. See, I understand the urge of the questionnaire asking that the FX will focus more on problem solving. But see, most of the problems you are mentioning here, you are highlighting here, is fiscal responsibility. It's not the job of the CBN. The CBN doesn't fix education. The CBN doesn't fix banditry. The CBN doesn't fix infrastructure. The CBN supports the economy. The CBN provides monetary, provides liquidity, gauges against inflation and stuff like that. That's their job. But you see, it's just like you accusing the art for not making your eyes to open because the eyes pump blood to your eye nerves. That's not the function of the art. The art is to ensure that there's liquidity around your body, to ensure oxygen flows around your system. And that's why you are surviving. But at times when the brain is not really doing what it should, you see that you see that the doctor will be telling that you are overworking your heart. So I think let's be fair to ourselves. The CBN is playing their role and based on the law. If you check they are doing their things. But you know, I'm not a politician, and I know that there are fundamental problems that will have strengthened the Naira. Definitely, I agree with you. The fact that if we have invested more in education, if we have created more jobs and minimize corruption, you can see statistics from PwC saying that if Nigeria can reduce their corruption to the bare minimum, it will save the GDP by 30%. And that's a big basis point. Also, if you look at the inconsistency of security apparatus, it's already driving investors and not. So those are fiscal problems. What we are saying here is that the mandate of the CBN in ensuring financial stability is their job, and buying Aboki FX was not beyond their limits.
Right.
They didn't get registered. They don't have any entity that verifies their information. So on Google, when you want to search Google, the rates on Google, you don't see black market rates. You see the export window rates, and you want to verify, you can check on XE, you can check on Bloomberg Terminal, you can check on routers. You don't see black market rates. So I don't know where you see such prevalence in markets. Thank you.
And then
because of time,
okay.
You want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that it's not as if CBN is also not trying the good part, because the person said, let's fix the root cause. So I feel, I mean, we've seen based on what CBN has done between last year and this year, that they are basically just trying to do anything they feel will work, whether it sounds good or whether, you know, it doesn't sound good at this point. So they are trying to do everything they can to control the fall. That's what I think.
Okay, finally, just about 2 minutes or so, let's talk about oil. Just about 24 hours or thereabout, the oil price went from about 70 something dollar to a barrel to $80 to a barrel now. So with oil at that price, does it mean that more foreign exchange for Nigeria, more foreign earnings?
Technically, yes. Technically, yes, because you know that about 90% of Nigeria's exporting comes from that area. But when you look deep into that, you find you'll be amused that it doesn't really make much difference, because you know what is making oil prices at that level, you need to understand, is that because we are having tightening supply, and that's because OPEC members are mandated to produce at their quota. So Nigeria is producing about 1.4. That's about 30-40% below optimal capacity. And the fact that you need to understand that investment in that channel has dwindled down. So the cost of producing is also not something encouraging. If you look at the fact that in Nigeria, for example, it costs about $35 to produce a barrel, while in Saudi Arabia, it costs about $7. You can see the discrepancy when you start deducting the price differential. So while it's very profitable in a lot of countries, I think for Nigeria, it's just a bit decent, a bit supportive, doesn't really give much box. And that's why the energy minister is trying to write to OPEC to allow them to increase on these supplies, because the truth is that we are not really gaining as we did 5 years ago. And that's where the problem is, because in the next couple of years, oil is going to reach the optimal demand. People are going to renewables, and we can see that's why Tesla shares is at record high. Thank you.
Well, the people going to, sorry, what was the last part you said? This guy's question just confused me. So anyway, what I was trying to say, right, is that oil naturally has a direct correlation with Nigeria's economy, because that is what we produce the most. We are one of the biggest exporters, and which is why last year when the price of oil dropped, you saw that the government came and corrected their budgets because of it. So yes, it might not have as much weight as it used to have, but it's still very much a good thing. The issue is that we cannot sustain it. And I also, yes, what I was trying to remember was the move to renewables. The story is not the same in Africa at all, because Africa literally contributes only 2% of the waste that everybody's talking about, of this greenhouse emissions and all that. So it's a whole new different conversation if you say people are going to invest in renewables. So maybe oil is not it. In Nigeria, in Africa, oil, gas, these guys are still going to be here for quite a while, because we are not in any way ready for renewables, and we probably don't even need renewables here, but that's a different conversation.
All right, Lawretta, because of time, we cannot continue to take all the questions. I wish you guys a happy Independence Day celebration ahead, and we'll see in October. I hope you bring my October cake along. Enjoy the rest of your day, Olumide and Lawretta. Thanks for joining us. Coming up.